All right, guys, welcome back to 1908. We've got some more action here for you today. The Browns taking on the Athletics. This is a game between two teams that are up near the top of the American League. The Athletics are technically tied with Cleveland for first place right now, and the Browns are half a game behind. So this might be a game to help sort of determine who's going to be the front runner here in the American League going forward. We'll see what happens. This has been an exciting American League pennant race so far. Up first for the Browns is Hope Ferris, hitting .315. He will face off against Eddie Plank. Plank is 4-3, 1.95 ERA, and Ferris's rolls a 16 for a 26. It's a ground ball over to Eddie Collins, who throws over to first base easily for the out, one away. We got some dog hairs here on the microphone, no problem. Jimmy Williams comes up next here for the Browns. Williams is hitting .256. And rolls a 61 for a 36. It's going to be a ball. And he'll get another roll. Eddie Plank, 4-3 record. Batted against average .233, which may look good from modern standards, but it's not so good for 1908. Williams rolls a 55 for an A. It's a fly ball over to, it's a ground ball over to short. Nichols throws to first. There's two away. And here's George Stone. Stone hitting .262. And roll is an 11 for a 0. Here's Stone's next roll. It's a 36 for a 6. That'll be a double over to right center, and that brings up Jim Stevens. So the Browns have the first base hit of this game here in the very top of the first inning and a chance to do something with it. Stevens is driven in 6, and his roll is a 23 for a 32, and that's going to be a fly ball over to right field. Murphy has that for the out, and that'll do it. And trying to see if we can do something here to make this a little bit more visible. Yeah, see, the problem that I have is that, let's see. Over. That help? Trying to see, and it doesn't help that much. Well, I'm not sure there's going to be much that we're going to be able to do about that white die, but you can see right here it's a 23, and we'll just go ahead and move on. So we go down to the bottom of the first inning now, no score. It'll be Eddie Collins here for the Athletics. Rube Waddell pitches here for the Browns. 5-3 is his record, 1.54 ERA. And the first roll for Collins is a 54 for a 45. It's a fly ball over to right field. Hartzell's got it for the out, one away. We just hope that Waddell doesn't get distracted by a fire truck or something else. Harry Davis now rolls a 35 for 14, and that'll be a walk. And Oldring will be up next. So Waddell has a base runner to deal with here in the early going. Davis does have an 11, so we will hit and run with him. And the roll is a 55 for an 8. That's going to be a ground ball over to second base. Williams has that, throws on to first for the out, and Davis moves up. There's two away, and here comes Topsy Hartzell. Hartzell hitting .252, 7 RBIs this season. And look at that, he rolls an 11 for a 0. And his next roll is a 13 for a 6, and that's going to be a double to left center field. And so Topsy knocks him in, winds up at second base himself, and that brings up Danny Murphy. We usually don't think about the 1908 Athletics having a good offensive team. I've been very surprised at how well they've been playing so far this season. Then again, it may have something to do with my lineups or may just be luck. I don't know what the reason is, but it's interesting. Danny Murphy now. And he rolls a 55 for an 8. That's a ground ball straight back to Waddell, who throws to first for the out, and we go to the top of the second inning. Try to move this over a little bit. You can see that we engage in all sorts of scientific filming practices here. I know that when you come to this channel, you expect the highest in quality. Let's see if that makes the dice any more visible. Roy Hartzell here for the Browns. Roll is a 44 for an 8. That's a ground ball to short, and Nichols has that on to first for the out, one away. Here now is Danny Hoffman. That's a little bit better, I think. Hoffman rolls a 14 for 43, fly ball over to left. Hartzell's got that for the out, two away. Tom Jones up there now. And Tom rolls a 33 for a 7, easy single to right. Hit number 2 for the Browns. That brings up Bobby Wallace. Wallace is hitting 183. Normally we'd bunt, but there's 2 out. And he rolls a 44 for an 8, and that's not going to do much. It's a ground ball to third. Collins, the other Collins, on to first for the out, and we go to the bottom of the second inning. Simon Nichols here for the Athletics to lead this off. He's hitting 227. His roll is a 25 for a 9. That'll be a single over short, and Waddell gives up another hit. 2 hits that he's given up so far. That brings up Aussie Schreckengost. Nichols does not have an 11 and is probably best to bunt here, so we'll do that. Rolls a 54 for a 45. There is a little E number, or a little E roll, I'm sorry. It's a 65 out of the range, and so there will be a bunt over to the left side. Ferris fields that and throws over to first for the out. Nichols moves up, and with one away, here is Jimmy Collins. Collins hitting only 180. On-base percentage is dipping below 200. And you can see why we have him hitting 8th. Collins rolls a 66, and I think he heard what I said, and the next roll is a 52 for an 11, and that'll be a single, and that will score the runner at second, and Collins makes it over to second base, stealing as Eddie Plank comes up there. So the score now is 2-0 Philadelphia. Here comes Plank, and with a runner on second base, I guess we might as well let Eddie swing away. He's hitting 235. And the roll's a 45 for a 14. He would have walked no matter what, by the way. If we'd bunted with him, it still would have been a walk. That's kind of the way that it works. And that brings up Eddie Collins. So runners on a first and second, 1 out here for Eddie Collins. Jimmy, of course, not very fast. Jimmy's the one who was near retirement in 1908. Eddie's the new kid and one of the best players in the American League. And the roll's a 44 for a 7, and that's going to be a single to left. That'll score 1. Plank goes to third, and Collins is there at first. And the Athletics continue their roll, and Waddell is really getting beaten around the ring here. Harry Davis comes up, still only 1 out, runners on the corners. Davis is hitting 252, has 16 men driven in, and his roll is a 31 for a 9. That's going to be another single that'll drive in another one. It's a 4-0 lead now, and Rube Waddell is really, really suffering. Waddell will be up first batter in the top of the third inning. And if this lasts much longer, I think we are going to probably take him out. So here is Rube Oldring now. Runners on at first and second with only 1 out, bottom of the second, sorry. And the pitch roll is a 13 for a 40. 40 is a ground ball past Waddell over to second. Williams has it and throws to first for the out. The runners move up. There's 2 away now, and here comes Topsy Hartzell. Hartzell, again, hitting 259. He's 1 for 1 today, had a doubles, drove in that first run, hoping to get a little bit of power this time as well. And his roll is a 32 for a 26. So much for that. It's a ground ball over to second. Williams throws to first, and that does it. And we go to the top of the third. I think we're going to do it. We're going to take Waddell out now before it's too late. I know that some purists might say this isn't the right thing to do. We'll put Al Schweitzer in, and then we'll let the bullpen handle it from here. Reason why is because he just doesn't look right. So Schweitzer rolls a 26 for a 27. It's a ground ball over to third. Collins on to first, and there's 1 away. Here's Ferris. Hobe rolls a 21 for a 30. Fly ball left field, and Hartzell's got that. 2 away. And here's Jimmy Williams. Rolls a 42 for a 13, and that'll be a strikeout for Williams. And we go to the bottom of the third inning. Now let's see who we can put in. We want to see if we have somebody. Maybe Bill Graham is the answer. Somebody who has who's not a normal starting pitcher for St. Louis. I'm looking here, kind of cheating and looking at my list as well. So like Bill Dineen is part of the starting rotation, even though he only started 16 games in real life. I probably should look through and try to update this a little bit. Could do Barney Pelty. We could do Harry Howell is part of the rotation as well. We could do Pelty. We could do Graham. I think we're probably going to go with Pelty, who has the better grade, and then we'll worry about Graham if we get to that point, if we need to take him out. Now, it's 1908 style, so once you put a pitcher in, you're hoping not to take him out quickly. Danny Murphy here to lead off the bottom of the third inning. He is 0 for 1. His roll is a 41 for a 28. It's a ground ball to short. Wallace on to first, and there's 1 away. Simon Nichols now. Nichols is 1 for 1, singled and scored. The roll is a 35 for a 13, and he goes down on strikes. 2 away, and here's Aussie Schreckengost. Aussie had that bunt. His roll is a 35 for a 13. He strikes out as well. We go to the top of the fourth inning. So Pelty may have been the right decision. George Stone will lead this off. Stone rolls a 43 for a 29. Ground ball back to Plank, who throws to first. 1 away. Jim Stevens now. Rolls a 63 for a 30. Fly ball left field. Hartzell's got that. There's 2 away. And here comes Roy Hartzell. You'll recall last time these teams played that I talked about how it's going to be hard to tell the two apart. Both are outfielders. Roy rolls a 22 for a 7, and he gets a base hit as well. So Hartzell is on at first, and here's Danny Hoffman. 4-0 Athletics. Sorry, Browns with 3 hits, though. And Hoffman rolls a 25 for an 8. It's a ground ball over to third. Collins on to first, and we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Jimmy Collins up there, 1 for 1. Had that single and stole a base. Rolls a 63 for a 30. Fly ball to left. Stone has that, 1 away. Eddie Plank now, who walked. He rolls a 16 for a 26. Ground ball over to second. Williams on to first. 2 gone. Here's Eddie Collins. And Eddie rolls a 32 for a 26. It's, again, Williams, the second baseman, who makes the throw to first for the out. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Tom Jones up here for St. Louis rolls a 13 for a 14, and that'll be a walk. That brings up Bobby Wallace, and you know it's time to bunt. Wallace rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a good bunt. Left side, throw from Collins over to the other Collins covering of the bag is in time. Jones moves up to second. There's 1 away. Now here's that pitcher, Barney Pelty. We'll leave him in. He's pitched well. His rolls a 25 for a 13. He strikes out. There's 2 away, and here's Hope Ferris with that runner on in scoring position. Ferris has driven in only 8 this season, and he rolls a 42 for a 13, and so he loses his chance at that. And we'll go to the bottom of the 5th inning. It'll be Harry Davis up here for the Athletics. 4-0 Philadelphia with the lead. And Davis rolls a 22 for an 8. That'll be a single to left center field now that Pelty's grade has dropped a bit. That brings up Brew Bouldering. And the question is, do we run or not? We do. We're going to run. And here's the rolls, a 55 for an 8. That'll be a single sending Davis over to third. But the little C means that Oldring is caught trying to steal second. So there's 1 away. Topsy Hartzell's up. The infield, of course, will play deep. Hartzell rolls a 21 for a 30. Fly ball to left. Stone gets it, but his arm's not good enough to catch the runner, and it's a 5-0 lead now for the Athletics. Here is Danny Murphy with 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th. He rolls a 63 for a 31. Fly ball center field. Hoffman's got it. We go to the top of the 6th. And it's Jimmy Williams up here for the Browns. Top of the 6th inning. 5-0 Athletics. Williams rolls a 13 for a 14. Takes his base on the base on balls. That's the second walk that Eddie's given up. That brings up George Stone. Down by 5. Stone rolls a 21 for a 30. Fly ball to left. Hartzell's got it. 1 away. Jim Stevens up there now. 0 for 2 today. 254. Now the average keeps dropping, and he rolls a 26 for a 30. It's another fly ball to Hartzell on left. 2 gone. And here is Roy Hartzell, who's 1 for 2, hitting 274. He rolls a 63 for a 31. It's a fly ball over to center field. And so you have to put my hand over there for you to see it. And Oldring has that for the out, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Simon Nichols here for the Athletics, bottom of the 6th. And Nichols rolls a 32 for a 26. It's a ground ball over to Williams, the second baseman, who throws to first. 1 away. Apologies again for the glare. I think it's a combination of the sun and the snow. Ossie Schrecken goes now. And he rolls an 11 for a 0, and here's his second roll. It's a 44 for a 6, and that'll be a clean double to right center for Ossie, and that brings up Jimmy Collins with a runner in scoring position again. Jimmy hasn't been hitting, but he's driven in 12, so we'll see if we can get it done here. 5-0 Athletics with the lead, and they've been dominating this whole game. And Collins rolls, look at that, a 55 for an 8. That's a single, and that scores the run, and then he's caught trying to steal. Don't know why the old man's trying to steal, but who knows. 2 away now, 6-0 Athletics. Here's Eddie Plank. And Eddie rolls a 21 for a 13 and strikes out. That is strikeout number 3 collected by Pelty. We go to the top of the 7th. Danny Hoffman leads this off for the Browns. Down now 6-0. Rolls a 42. It's a 22 changed to an 18. That'll be an error on Nichols. First error of the ball game, and Hoffman is perched aboard first base. Brings up Jones, and we might as well hit and run. Rolls a 22 for a 7. That's a single to right field off of Plank. Hoffman makes it all the way around to third, and that'll bring up Bobby Wallace. Infield will be deep. No point in bunting with Wallace because 1 run does nothing. And his roll is a 65 for a 35. I think that might be a double play if you're both bunting, actually. Next roll is a 33, and that's going to be a pop-up foul territory, and Eddie Collins, the second baseman, will grab that for the out. There's 1 away. We'll take out Pelty, and now we'll put in, Spencer, I think, is the backup catcher, so we'll put in Bert Blue. Blue has only 2 plate appearances so far in this replay, is hitting nothing. Now here comes Blue with a chance to do something. And his roll is a 14 for a 43. It's a fly ball to left. Hartzell has that. That is just deep enough to score the runner from third. So blue gets the Browns finally on the board. It's a 6-1 game now. Here is Hobe Ferris. Ferris rolls a 64 for a 13 and strikes out, and we go to the bottom of the 7th. So the other person I was talking about we could bring in was Bill Graham, and Bill Graham will be the new pitcher here for the St. Louis Browns as they try to hold the Athletics in the 7th and 8th and hopefully are able to get their 5 runs to equal this. Here's Eddie Collins. Collins is 1 for 3 today. Rolls a 62 for a 12. Here's that little E roll. It's a 21, which is within the range, and there you go. 21, as you can see right there. Collins ends up aboard on an error on Ferris, the third baseman. That'll bring up Harry Davis. Collins does not have an 11, by the way. But it doesn't really matter. You're up by 5. Rolls a 35 for a 14, and that's a walk. So Bill Graham gives up an error and then a walk right away. Not the way he wanted this to start. Rube Oldring now, and he rolls an 11 for a 0. Rube's next roll is a 66 for a 1. Now let's see if Graham can reduce that. And it's a 65. He cannot. That's a home run for Oldring, and that makes this a 9-1 game. And Graham's grade drops pretty significantly. So much for holding him. 9-1 Athletics on the big home run by Rube Oldring. And you can forget about it, man. 9 runs, 10 hits for the Athletics against 1 run and 4 hits for the Browns. And here's Topsy Hartzell. Hartzell rolls a 14 for a 43. It's a fly ball to left, and Stone has it for the first out. 1 away, and the fans here in Philadelphia just absolutely whooping it up. Here's Danny Murphy. Roll is a 23 for a 32 fly ball to right. Hartzell's got that 2 away. As I said before, if the Athletics can win this game, they do themselves a big favor in terms of trying to reach in and dominate first place in the American League. Here comes Simon Nichols, and he rolls a 56 for a 34. It's a pop-up behind short. Wallace has that for the out, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. 9-1 Athletics, and here comes Jimmy Williams for the Browns. Williams today 0 for 2. Rolls a 12 for a 25. There is a little E roll. It's going to be a 64, which is out of the range. It's a ground ball over to Eddie Collins, who throws to first. There's 1 away. George Stone now. He rolls a 42 for a 14, and that'll be a walk, and that brings up Jim Stevens. So there is a runner here on first base. Stone has some speed. Might as well run him. Rolls a 65 for a 35, and that's going to be a strike, but Stone steals the base. That's why we use that. Stevens now rolls a 63 for a 30. Fly ball left field. Hartzell's got that for the out. There's 2 away. Roy Hartzell now, who's 1 for 3. And he rolls a 16 for a 26. Ground ball to Eddie Collins, who throws to first. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Or 8th inning, I'm sorry. It's a 9-1 lead. I'm getting those confused. Shrek Ghost rolls a 66 for a 0. And a 54 for a 7. That'll be a single for Aussie. And he is now 2 for 3. And that'll bring up Jimmy Collins. Collins is also 2 for 3 today. 2 singles, driven in 2 runs, and scored 1 himself. His roll is a 45 for a 14. That'll be a walk, and that brings up Eddie Plank. Plank will just swing away. And I'm not sure how much longer we're going to stick with Graham. And the roll's a 44 for an 8. That's a single scoring 1. And that brings up Eddie Collins. And that is it for Graham. Graham went 3 1/3, gave up 4 runs, not the outing that he wanted to have, and it's kind of garbage time here for this bullpen. There's not a whole lot left anyway. It's either going to be Bailey or Chris, and it will be Chris. So Dode Chris will come in. Chris, 7 innings pitched this season, 3.68 ERA, and a 3.33 batted against average here against Eddie Collins. 10-1 Athletics. And Collins rolls a 16 for a 26 as a pop-up over to Williams, the second baseman, who grabs that for the first out. 1 away, and here's Harry Davis. So I'm sorry, the pitcher Graham only had 1 inning of work instead of 1 1/3. Here is Davis. Rolls a 24 for a 13 and strikes out. There's 2 away, and here's Rube Oldring. He rolls a 62 for a 12, and that'll be a walk because of the WW that Chris has. And that'll bring up Topsy Hartzell. Dode Chris has given up 6 walks now in 8 innings against 1 strikeout. Hartzell rolls a 65 for a 35, and that's another walk, and he's walked in a run. 11-1 is now the score. And here's Danny Murphy. Murphy rolls a 46 for a 29. That's a comebacker over to Chris, who throws to first for the out. And finally, we go to the top of the ninth inning. 11-1 Athletics. Danny Hoffman leads this off. Rolls a 42 for a 22. Change to 17. That'll be a fly ball to right field. Murphy has that for the out easily. One away. Here's Tom Jones. Jones rolls a 43 for a 29. It's a comebacker to Eddie Plank, who throws to first for the out. There's 2 away, and it's Bobby Wallace. Bobby rolls a 12 for a 24. It's a ground ball over to short. Nichols grabs that, throws over to first base in one smooth motion for the final out, and there's your ball game. Philadelphia wins this one in an absolute embarrassment, 11-1 the final score, and I hope you enjoyed that. We'll have another game for you again tomorrow. Talk to you then. Bye.